Hey, welcome to Divisive Issues, the comic book. Yeah.
Bleh. Solid start. Take two.
I vomit all over that. Hey, welcome to Divisive Issues, the comic book podcast where we talk about controversial issues in comics.
Or it's quickly becoming the show where we just talk about whatever the fuck we want.
I'm Joe.
I'm Psych Rapper.
And I'm Ryan Lynch.
All right, and today we've got two gems that we're going to be reviewing. The Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe by Garth Ennis and Doug
Braithwaite.
Thank you so much. God, I was like, I'm looking at this like, don't mess up.
And we got a double in here. We're also going to talk about Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe by Cullen Bunn and Dalibor to Logic.
Wow, they really followed the proud tradition set by Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe of artists with difficult to pronounce last names.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling good about these. I don't know about you guys. I feel great.
I'm feeling right in the middle.
Well, we'll be doing our first compare and contrast.
This is gonna be great.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. So we want to do overall thoughts on the Punisher. I assume we'll break this up. Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe. Opening thoughts.
Well, what are the premises of these comics first?
The character kills the Marvel. I thought they were self-explanatory.
So as far as who should read this, anyone who wants to watch those characters kill the Marvel Universe. That's really it.
I guess.
If you want to read like a gritty, violent story where a bunch of heroes get killed, I think that they're fun.
Not just heroes and villains.
Yeah, everybody.
Everyone. The Marvel Universe.
The Marvel Universe.
I think they're fun little premises. I think Daredevil kills not Daredevil.
I did that same thing.
Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe was more of a series. Punisher was more of a one shot. I think they're fine. They were fun. I recommend them to anyone who just kind of wants to like read an over the top kind of fun story that could clearly never happen in regular mainstream Marvel.
They're basically they do exactly what they set out to do, and I think they do it fine.
Yeah.
What about you, Sly?
I think they both suck. If you want, I guess if you're a guy who wants to see everyone die, this literally is the only way you can see that happen. But I don't feel any emotion from these books or any fun.
I don't think you're not supposed to feel emotion.
Well, you're saying, oh, these are fun books. I feel empty inside after reading these books.
Get over yourself, Sly.
I know.
How full do you usually feel inside?
Yeah.
Well, I've been drained a little bit recently after Cry for Justice, Rise and Fall,
Yeah.
Guardian Devil.
Yeah. So you want to get into Punisher, Joe?
I do. I want to dive right in.
I want to die right now.
No, I want to live. I want to live and talk about these books.
Just real quick, when did this come out?
1995.
Cool.
First publishing.
Fun fact about the writer, Garth Ennis. This is before he did his Punisher run. But
This is his first. This is his first work on the Punisher ever, which is very cool. He goes on to have a very lengthy run on the Punisher.
I think he wrote it from like 2000 to 2008.
Yeah, he's probably one of the most definitive Punisher writers. Like the only one that compares is probably Chuck Dixon, but Garth Ennis is probably first.
Yeah. He would have a run the Punisher that spanned it. He does the Marvel Knights Punisher series, and then he starts the Punisher on the Max imprint.
We talked a little bit about that in the Civil War episode.
Yeah. So it was cool. It was fun to read his first take on the character.
And it gives you a nice glimpse of what his actual run is in a lot of ways, especially how it treats the Marvel characters that are not Punisher.
Are you referring? Oh, we can totally review Confederacy of Dunces at some point. I'm sure you.
Confederacy of Dunces.
Oh yeah. How do you feel about Spider-Man, Hulk, and Daredevil?
I am a big fan of all three.
Oh, I know what we're reviewing next. All right, let's dive into this without getting too deep.
So now we're talking spoilers.
We're talking spoilers here.
It's only like a 50-page book.
Yeah.
So
47 pages, Ryan. Get it fucking right.
All right. So it opens up. We have a flashback sequence of a young Frank Castle and a young Matt Murdock, where Frank saves Matt from bullies. I actually really like this scene because I think it kind of sets up the morality of both characters. Frank being very much, you got to take care of your own. You got to kind of look out for yourself and look out for your family. And Matt's kind of like avoid conflict at all costs, which is kind of his undoing later on in the story.
And they're little kids, and we've actually Matt Murdock eventually grows up to be Daredevil, as we know. And in
the guy who kills the baby tries to kill the baby.
Yeah, you know him as the baby killer.
Well, that baby needed to die.
So one thing, we've seen these kind of scenes in Daredevil canon all the time. Of him as a little kid, his dad didn't want him to be, a physical fighter.
Don't be fighting people, Matt.
Yeah, so just kind of
Don't
like...
be like you, old man.
Yeah, so it's really cool seeing, like, pretty much an in-continuity scene
Yeah.
to kind of ground it
Yeah.
right away. And Frank Castle, if we haven't mentioned, is the Punisher.
He is. Yes.
So, continue, Joe.
Continue on. All right. We flash forward. Frank is speeding towards Central Park, where there is a big superhero fight going on with the Avengers and the X-Men versus a Brood Skull hybrid, as they were kind enough to point out.
Lots of aliens fighting
aliens.
lots of heroes.
And Frank's family, in a way that mirrors his origin, is killed in the crossfire of this fight.
Instead of the regular universe where they get killed by mafia.
Where they're killed by mobsters, as Sly points out. They're killed in the crossfire.
So we see right away this is a slightly
a mirroring.
different...
Yeah, it's a mirroring.
Similar origin, but the motivation is very different.
Yes. So they're killed in the crossfire. Daredevil goes to confront the heroes. He's like, you guys were reckless. How come you didn't evacuate all the people from the park? Captain America states that there wasn't any time. It was very urgent, and Cyclops says that casualties were inevitable.
Cyclops is kind of a dick in this scene.
Oh, he's absolutely a dick, and he pays for it when he gets shot in the face by Frank, who arrives on the scene.
And also, Frank murders Jubilee too. So
kills Jubilee. He kills Hawkeye.
I think he kills Kitty Pryde too.
Well, they say
Jubilee and Cyclops.
He kills a
later
bunch
on.
of people.
Yeah, it's weird because they say Jubilee, but it's clearly Kitty Pryde on the page, which is
Well, this
funny.
is an alternate reality.
Exactly.
Maybe that's her code name.
It could be. But anyway, Cyclops is not very remorseful when Frank arrives on the scene, and Frank pulls out his gun and starts shooting people before he's subdued by Wolverine.
He shoots Cyclops right in the face, by the way.
Oh, right in the face.
Yeah,
Pow,
okay.
right in the kisser.
Pow, right in the kiss.
Okay, so how do we feel at that point? I know you two love Cyclops, so I kind of want to get your opinions on that.
Well, this is an alternate universe in a book called Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe. If I went in hoping my favoriteest characters make it out okay, obviously I'm picking up the wrong book.
No, I was more curious. Did you like that he was kind of like a douchebag?
I feel this whole intro was probably a reaction to the X-Men cartoon and the X-Men comics at the time, because almost everyone, the least favorite characters who watched the cartoon felt Jubilee and Cyclops were the least likable characters.
So I feel like this is almost like...
I feel like this Garth is making clear which X-Men he hates the most.
Yeah, so this is him projecting that fan anger.
Well, I agree on Jubilee. The only thing I wish that scene had was I wish Jean was there, and when Scott gets shot in the face, Jean goes,
Scott!
I mean, I have no problem with it because I knew what was going to happen, so whatever.
Yeah. But you expected it right away? I expect there to be some build-up to it, but this whole comic is really, really fast. I mean,
this whole comic.
He only has 47 pages.
But it goes fast as fuck. It does not take his time for anything at all, or develop anything of any real consequence.
He's got a whole universe to kill. He doesn't have time to focus on every
on
X-Men.
character development, plot progression, all those. You don't have time for that.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah,
he doesn't kill a whole universe.
Why am I reading this comic then? I guess literally to see everyone die. And that's it.
I'm sorry if you're expecting character development for the X-Men in a Punisher Kills
not for the X-Men, but
story.
just for Frank's ultimate decision to murder everyone right away.
Well, his family died.
I know, but
it's as much motivation as the regular Punisher has.
His family dies, and Cyclops is writing them off as collateral damage in front of his face.
But literally, you go one page, his backstory. Next page, him driving to a crime scene. Next page, him meeting the X-Men. Next page, him shooting Cyclops in the face. 4 pages in, he's already shooting people.
Well, good.
Yeah,
good. That's 4 pages in, so I really get to the main premises. I don't think any book ever has done it that fast.
But why waste time? I picked up this book knowing that this is what it was going to be.
Yeah.
And also, I think this is one thing that I did want to mention. It's as an alternate universe take. Do you feel that it's fair for Garth Ennis to rely a lot on our already understanding of the Punisher? Because
yes,
I think it's fair.
I think it's not.
We know the Punisher generally.
And
if
we don't need.
this book,
Also, we don't need it because he explains it later on.
Yeah, he explains what it is. But I mean, Sly's talking about character development. I feel like you appreciate the scene more if you have an understanding.
Aren't
of the
you
Punisher?
know bitches about books saying, "Oh, this scene's only effective because we know he's got some better runs," and now you're saying it's okay. This book expects us to get some better runs.
That's in continuity books that are killing characters that are now dead.
But that's not a general rule. I think it's a general rule for me.
I think in a book like this, you're allowed a lot more freedom.
I think Frank gets enough character justification to shoot Cyclops in the face.
I don't think you spend 5 pages with him Why don't they shoot this guy in
We
the face?
already have his morals established from his scene with Matt Murdock about
Yeah.
taking care of
And,
your own.
and literally a single page.
Yeah,
That
I know, it's a
flashback
great
is
page.
It's a great page. The most effective page of character development Joe's ever seen in
It's
his
a
life.
fantastic page.
Look at Hyperbolic Sly here making an early appearance in the show.
Woo woo!
I think it's fair.
I think it's not.
Okay.
All right,
So
well,
fuck you, Ryan.
here we go. All right. So Punisher gets some legal counseling from Matt Murdock.
Who he
Matt,
doesn't know is
who
Daredevil.
does not know his Daredevil. He's going to try.
And he barely remembers him from his past. Too.
Yeah, Matt says that he's going to try and get Frank like a fair deal here, but he's killed some people. As the judge mentions, some of the nation's greatest heroes, and also the X-Men's Jubilee and Cyclops, which I laughed at because he made a very great distinction between the two.
Well, knowing the X-Men, I feel like
The racist, like the
Yeah.
anti-mutant judge. And Frank is sent away for life, except he's not, because his van takes a detour to upstate New York, where he meets this cabal of people who have been caught in the crossfire of superhero battles.
one
and they
guy
decide,
that was in a building that the thing knocked down.
Yeah.
One guy like Wolverine slashed and paralyzed him. Like
Yeah.
people that are the collateral damage.
Yeah, Wolverine was great because Wolverine's was a he killed the wrong person. Wolverine wasn't trying like he.
Yeah, it was a
really reckless,
Yeah.
like Wolverine, like
Mistaken identity.
Yeah. So this group, super meta superheroes, recruits Frank to kill them all. And what I liked about this scene was like there are a lot of really like disfigured and like one of them is like burned because Ghost Rider like ran him over.
One of them has like a neck brace.
Yeah.
By the way, Ghost Rider never shows up in this fucking story.
That's true.
What the fuck is the point of that mention then? And how will Punisher even kill Ghost Rider? Ghost Rider's a fucking demon.
Well, he doesn't get killed in this book.
I'm sorry, it's a 47-page book, Sly.
But that guy says, Ghost Rider ran over my face.
I'm sorry, I didn't see him kill Luke Cage either. I guess
I know,
Luke
but
Cage
here's an
isn't
argument.
dead?
That guy says,
Is Iron
Ghost
Fist
Rider
dead
ran over
too?
my face. We never see Ghost Rider die. Ghost Rider thinks theoretically not die, and then in the end, that
Oh,
guy
no, he's dead.
How's he dead? How
Punisher
could you
killed
possibly
him.
kill him?
Okay,
Punisher killed
I
him.
actually I was gonna wait till the end to ask
Yeah.
this question, but I think now we're far enough in that I think it's valid.
Yeah.
Deadpool does this a lot too, and we'll get to that later. There's a lot of characters that there's no conceivable way that they would get killed by this character. Would you rather them have some bullshit plot reason why they killed them, or have them die off screen?
Honestly, I actually prefer it this way. Punisher does it better than Deadpool.
Okay, so you're glad
I'm
that
being
Ghost Rider's off
I'm being
screen?
half ironic because I just find it
Okay.
funny that they mention Ghost Rider runs over his face,
Yeah.
but he's fine with Ghost Rider not getting killed by the end.
No, it is very like, why mention him if they're not going to bring him up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not have it be anyone else who runs
Yeah.
him over? I get that. But so you
I
would
prefer
rather
this. I
okay.
literally I prefer this. I prefer this way.
Because there's a
Sly
lot of
prefers
like
this.
bullshit death stuff.
If I had to take any book, actually this one I don't actually hate at all, but I should clarify. I should clarify.
This is actually my favorite book.
When I say I don't hate it at all, I have no super negative feelings for it.
Okay.
I have super negative feelings for Deadpool. This one I could take or leave.
Okay. So let's try to keep them relatively separate, but I think there is obviously comparisons of like, would you rather have them die off screen,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And I personally, it depends. It's case by case. Sometimes it's really funny to watch a total nonsense fight happen.
Yeah.
But like we talked about with Daredevil Black Widow in the last episode, if it really doesn't make sense, just have him kill him off screen. It's Punisher kills the Marvel Universe. There's going to be some level of suspension of disbelief here.
Yeah.
Just
There's
just
a ton.
hand wave
I'm sorry. There's a lot of suspension of disbelief here.
So just hand wave it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Okay. So Frank starts his killing spree. Starts off with killing Spider-Man and Venom.
I actually really like what he says when they die.
Yeah. Which is I believe the line is Spider-Man's like, "Why me?" and Frank's like, "Somebody had to be first," and
Yeah.
then shoots him in the face. He kills the Hulk by waiting for him to turn back into Bruce Banner. And we also meet Microchip, who
Punisher psychic in the main universe.
yeah, Punisher's
Was he in the main universe yet?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
He was a Punisher supporting character. Usually handles all Frank's tech stuff. Trying to think. Yeah,
We've
I think
seen
he's
that
dead,
character in a million different stories.
He's
The-
in
the
a
tech guy.
Punisher Warzone the movie played by the guy who's Newman, which was interesting.
Wayne Knight.
Yes, Wayne Knight.
Hello, Microchip.
Yeah. So, so he's also recruited the same way Frank is. He got his legs ripped off by Doc Ock because he refused to give him missile codes or something like that.
Doc
Yeah.
Ock, more like Doc Cock.
More like cock, right, guys?
There you go. So we go across Frank. Frank fights and kills the Kingpin, who puts up a very good fight. Very bloody fight.
This is actually
Yeah.
interesting because Kingpin says he likes what Frank is doing and
Yeah.
would have helped him kill all the heroes.
Yeah. He also gives the because he said he gets tech and weapons that were gonna be they was gonna give to Frank, which
Yeah.
kind of sets up some of the more outlandish kills in this book.
Yeah.
Well, one reason I do like this book better than the Deadpool book is that they do actually make an effort to show more Punisher killing the villains as well as the heroes, and he actually has better motivations than Deadpool does.
Oh yeah, I think this book
Yeah.
is better than Deadpool one, but we'll get to the Deadpool one.
We'll get to that.
But yeah, and Kingpin tanks a lot of bullets.
Yeah.
To an unrealistic degree.
Oh, it's a ridiculous level.
Kingpin has like the best like go of anyone. in
Yeah,
this
he's
book.
the only one that puts up an actual fight.
Yeah.
He takes less bullets to kill 5 X-Men than he does to kill 1 Kingpin.
Yeah.
Kingpin. There's a lot of beef on Kingpin.
Yeah, but like,
He's going for mostly body shots.
oh, he didn't get the beef-piercing rounds.
There
That's
you
why.
go. What you get from Kingpin later on?
Kingpin had all the
He
beef-piercing.
does. Frank is arrested. He once again gets legal counsel from Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil. Turns
This
it
scene
down.
I find absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Because he gets arrested and Matt's like, you're gonna go back to jail, and he goes, okay, and then it just smash cuts to him with the cabal again of the
Yep.
hurt people, and they're just like, it's costing us a lot of money to get you here, and they don't even pretend like it's anything other than, what did you say originally?
And I have in my notes as like, and Frank once again gets out of jail because his story needs to continue.
Yeah,
His story-
like they don't even pretend
Yeah.
to make any effort to explain it. They're just like,
Yeah.
I have more money.
Exactly. Yeah. You know what? How much money is it gonna take to get Frank, this mass murderer of heroes, out of jail again? This much? Okay. So Frank gets out of jail, and through tech he gets from Kingpin, sneaks into Latveria. He disables Doctor Doom with a magnetic mine, and then literally hammers his brains in. And
Yeah.
this was the most, I think, hand wavy fight.
Yeah, because
'Cause-
Doctor Doom usually fights the Fantastic Four and is like a super sorcerer,
Yes.
crazy inventor, and he just hits him with like it looks like a fridge magnet and a hammer.
I actually like this death the best out of everyone, just because Doctor Doom is always the biggest plot. It's
Yeah.
convenience. Like, I always have an escape plan, and Punisher, out of everyone, he's like, I've destroyed all your Doom bots, I tracked down the real Doctor Doom, there's
Yeah.
no way it's not Doctor Doom, and now I'm going to hammer your face in. And I'm like, that'd be awesome. If
Yeah,
that
it's
happened.
literally he hammers his face in. And with Doom dead, Frank gets access to more weaponry and tech to continue his war on the Marvel Universe. Which starts off with him nuking all of the X characters on the
okay.
moon.
This scene's hilarious because
is
it's
great.
Storm and all the X-Men.
All the surviving X-Men.
Yeah, all the
Yeah.
surviving X-Men on the moon, and they're like, Magneto, why did you and Mr. Sinister and Apocalypse
And Omega Red
and
and
Omega Red
everyone.
and every X-Men villain challenge us on the moon? And Magneto goes, no, you guys challenged us, and then a nuke blows up.
And they all die.
And it's so funny to think that all these X-Men villains who've never teamed up
Yeah.
are just like, they showed up because they got the invite to the same party.
Yeah, like from Frank. Like this fake invite that like, he does.
Frank has the address for Apocalypse and Omega Red in his phone book.
That's the one way to clear up a bunch of heroes in one go.
Yeah,
No, I thought that was so funny to
I
me.
think
And,
that's
and
hilarious.
how does he get the nuke on the moon?
yeah.
Like it's the most over the top death, but it's
Yeah.
so funny because like, wait, no, you invited us here. No, you invited us. Pff,
This is
mushroom
when I
cloud.
thought that the humor of the series
Yeah.
really shows. Series.
This is Ennis's humor.
Yeah, this is when
Yeah.
it's like, I'm not pretending to tell a deep story. I just wanted to blow up these heroes with a nuke on the moon.
He's trying to be a black comedy mostly.
Yeah,
Which if you read Ennis's stuff,
Ennis does black comedy really well.
he does it to a T. I just want to look this up real quick. Wolverine is
Wolverine gets drunk in the bar, and then Punisher.
no, I want to check if he was in Japan or not. He's
Yeah,
not.
he is.
went to Japan.
He goes, all my friends got blown up on the
Yeah.
moon, and I was stuck in stupid Japan.
Wolverine is super drunk and depressed. That all of his friends
I
died
was
on the
doing
moon.
weeaboo shit while all my friends got nuked.
This is the weird part because I just like specifically make sure I'm gonna leave you out because
I want to kill you
um,
personally. Something.
yeah, Wolverine is the one who subdues him early on when he shoots Cyclops and
Yeah, when he
and I
kills a
can't believe
bunch
it's
of
not
these-
Jubilee in the face.
Yeah, and Wolverine actually also slashed Punisher's face.
Yes.
So he has like a "you remember this" kind of moment.
Yeah.
I feel like Garth Ennis especially hates Wolverine because he never in his later Punisher run he has Punisher run him over with steam roller.
Steam
I think
It's pretty great.
I think out of everyone, I think Garth Ennis hates Wolverine like more than anyone
He
else.
also writes him as like super. I think he has him call him the knucklehead or whatever.
Yeah.
super, like, it just makes him super Canadian.
Is
So
that a racist term?
it could be. I hope not.
Did you just make a slur on our show, Joe?
No, but
sure?
Joe is referencing a line in dialogue in a book we're talking about.
Okay. Be sure to bleep me out though. All right. So he outfights, and this is the weird part: is he outpowers Wolverine, stabs Wolverine with his own claw, and then throws him into like an electrical like generator, and like
that happens to be in this alley in Japan.
This dank alley in Japan, and Wolverine like gets fried and dies.
This is when Joe's like, "This is weird." he can beat Doctor Doom with a hammer, but being a little stronger than Wolverine, that's insane.
No, because there are parts where like I could see him. I take it back. Him out teching Doom is ridiculous, but this is equally ridiculous for me, where he outfights like not even like
and
gun.
Then he picks him up and throws him. His skeleton is made out of metal.
No, I don't. I'm okay with that, but him like out hand-to-hand combating and outpowering Wolverine is like I'm like what?
Also, him dying to electric fence is pretty lame. I prefer the steamroller.
The steamroller. I feel like Garth was like I'm gonna save all my good Wolverine like fuck yous for like later on for my future Punisher run. Somehow Frank is back in lockup after this, and he's talking to Matt once again. Matt is the only one that seems to care.
I can't believe he still cares.
Yeah, still cares. Despite the fact that Frank has killed hundreds. He says he's killed 500 people.
This is why I don't like about the story, honestly, because if you took it just a straight black comedy, it would be hilarious, but there are these really forced sentimentality with Matt and thrown right in there and doesn't work at all.
This is going to be fascinating when you get to Deadpool.
It will be fascinating.
I kind of just push it. I took it more as like Daredevil and the Punisher have such a long history together that this is more an homage
Daredevil
to
Punisher,
that.
Matt Frank.
Yeah, Matt and Frank. And I took this more as an homage to that, not necessarily supposed to be the emotional
No, but I think I feel it is because none of the Matt Frank scenes are played for laughs, and Daredevil's the only character that gets any dignity in the story.
That's
really.
true.
I thought Jubilee got dignity.
Jubilee. More than in the cartoon, I guess.
Jubilee should have been the steamroller. I'm sorry to anyone who likes Jubilee, but
I love Jubilee.
She's awful in the 90s cartoon.
Yeah.
I understand what cartoon.
Jubilee's one of my favorite X-Men characters, but I'll agree with that.
Does a mall baby eat chili fries, Ryan?
I just want to eat chili fries in the mall.
There you
Are
go.
you selling a hedgehog?
Those are chili dogs, Sly.
Oh, sorry.
God, learn the lore, Dick.
All right, so anyway, Frank asks Matt, he's like, why do you care? And Matt's like, because somebody has to. And then Frank leaves jail for the third time.
I like that line.
It's a nice line.
But it is so funny that immediately he's just back out of jail.
And then
It's a nice line from a book that's not this book. That's what it feels like to me.
And then he's back on the street fighting Captain America because the story has to continue because the whole Marvel universe isn't dead yet.
This was a weird death. Captain America
was the worst. Captain America, I think, was the biggest disservice, weirdly enough, because Captain America pretty much he has Frank on the ropes, and then Frank mentions, "Oh, I was in Nam," and when you're in Nam, you check your surroundings.
I have a gun.
And then whatchamacallit, and then no, not even that. Captain America takes his eye off him.
He just turns around like, what's
and then while Captain America has his eye turned, Frank's like, I hid this gun like on the battlefield and stuff, and then shoots Captain America.
Can love bloom on the battlefield?
Love is a battlefield. So.
This was originally a 200-page graphic novel with 160 pages of an intimate love scene between Captain America and Punisher.
That's another reason why I don't like the story that much, because aside from a few nice deaths, I find most of the deaths to be kind of lame.
Yeah, this was the most, which is weird, because it's not even like he beats... It's not like he beats the Punisher to like. I would have liked more if he had like a plot device. It's just he writes Captain America poorly.
This comic is 40 pages, and what you're reading it to see cool deaths, and you get some cool ones, but for the most part, some of them are pretty lame.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Like want every death to be epic and bombastic.
You want everyone to be Doom getting hammered in the head.
Yeah.
There needs to be more like gratuitous, like I'm gonna kill you by hammering you.
Yeah.
You repeatedly. All right, so Frank's back at. I just keep calling them the Cabal because it works out. Frank's at the Cabal, and the Cabal Leatherface leader is like, all right, Frank, like he wants Frank to keep killing even after Frank kills all the heroes.
Yeah, everyone's dead by this point.
Frank's like, no, there's one left.
Oh, there's one left.
Daredevil's left, and Frank's like, I'm done after Daredevil, and like Leatherface Cabal guy's like, no, you're gonna keep killing because the thing about superpower people is that they always spawn new ones, and Frank's like, no, I'm done. And then Kabbalah's like, I own you, and then Frank shoots him in the face and
Yeah.
pretty much tells everyone.
That's Frank's method of operation. Shoot people in the face when they come confront you.
You know, it's worked pretty well for him. I
Yeah.
don't blame him for
Yeah,
that.
at this point, he's gotten out of jail
Yeah.
with, like, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he tells the rest of the group, like, don't come after me or I'll kill you too. He makes his peace. Sorry. He makes his
He makes his pee.
makes his pee. He talks to Microchip. He tells Microchip to find a new job. So it's very much Frank kind of bracing for the end. He knows that it's done at this last fight.
You know, it's almost page 47 of this 47 page comic.
And then he fights Daredevil. And it's a nice fight. This is the most, I think, fight of all of them.
Yeah.
Fight.
And it's cool because they fight in the same alleyway where Frank saved Matt at the start of the book.
Yeah.
So we get a full circle
Which Frank
moment.
doesn't really remember.
Frank does not remember that at all.
Which I like. I like that a lot because.
That he's so I like that he's so consumed in
Yeah.
it. He doesn't really see.
And also, like, Matt
Yeah.
remembers it because this is the time someone stood up for him.
Yeah.
When Frank was a kid, this was just another time Frank was just being Frank.
Yeah.
So, like, I like that it made such a bigger impact to Matt than it did to Frank.
I understand story-wise why it's Matt versus Punisher. It just feels weird that Daredevil will be the last standing superhero in this world.
Well, that's by Frank's choice.
Well,
He says, I saved
yeah.
him.
But
Well,
why?
Does he say I saved you?
Oh, actually, I don't. The
Well-
fact that he doesn't. I think he says I saved Daredevil for last.
But
Let me
why?
check. Hold on.
He doesn't know it's Matt.
That's true. I don't know.
Like, if it was Matt, I'd be like, that makes perfect sense,
Give me a
but
sec,
he doesn't know
hold
it's Matt. He just randomly picks Daredevil. Like, what the fuck is Daredevil to Matt?
I feel like
That's the
I
last
assume
Frank.
that since Matt knows Frank, he's staying fucking out of this guy's way.
Yeah, so it just seems weird. Like, out of all the heroes, Daredevil's
Yeah, I
survival of
guess
the
it's just
fittest.
coincidental. But you know me, I pay the least attention and just decide whatever I want it to be is the way it was.
And it's neat because I thought it was neat because it was pretty much Daredevil actually seeks out Frank. He finds Frank first.
He probably should have found him sooner. He could have maybe solved some
No,
stuff.
but I thought that goes back to the start of the story with Daredevil avoiding the fight and Frank kind of taking the fight to
Oh, that's
other
interesting.
people.
I also
thought-
feel like if you watch someone kill
Yeah.
like the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom and stuff, you're not gonna seek them out unless like you know you're next.
Unless you're ready for the fight.
yeah.
But I'm not gonna. The story doesn't deserve getting too much analysis into.
Says you. I say this
I
story
enjoyed
deserves.
it.
I thought this was a great scene. I thought the artist really sells the kind of remorse on Matt's face that it's kind of come to this.
When I say analysis, I mean analysis in how this logically will happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More like that. I mean, like, because like realistically, Frank will be like assassinated, like, and like after he kills like the
I
first
think we established that this book does not follow the logical rules of the regular Marvel.
of any universe that
Yeah,
exists.
because then the book couldn't exist.
Yeah.
Cool. So then what happens, Joe?
They fight for a while. Daredevil has Punisher on the ropes.
Which is so funny after all of this.
No, he does, and
He's
he's
the one that
like,
puts up a fight.
Daredevil's like, listen, you killed a lot of good people, like, and some bad people, and Frank's like, I only killed arrogant scum. And Matt's just like, end it. And Frank's like, never. And he winds up going into a rage and killing Daredevil, who he then discovers is Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
And for the first time, Frank seems to show remorse in this. And the story concludes with Matt Murdock dying, and then Matt Murdock dying, saying, "You done it, Frank. You've killed everyone." And
Yeah.
Frank's like, "Not everyone," and he shoots himself in the head.
He says
The
there's
end.
one left. or
Yeah, there's
something.
one left. He does. He's like, not everyone. There's one left, and then he kills himself.
I
really
like
like
it.
I like it. It's a complete story. There is substance. There is substance there. I'm not going to say this is the greatest Punisher story I've ever read, but it is what it is. And like I thought it was good at doing what it tried to do, which
Yeah.
is be like a quirky, not like a quirky, but like an Elseworld story where the Punisher literally kills the Marvel
Yeah,
universe.
I think if
and I like that he does kill the Marvel universe because it ends with him.
yeah, basically, I think if you're someone who sees a book called Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe and is at all interested in it, I think
Yeah.
this does a good job with it. So I
Yeah.
would say this is a pretty good book.
To give some backstory on this book, this was part of a very limited imprint of Marvel called the Marvel Alternaverse, which was trying to be alternate reality Marvel stories. There are literally only 4 comics under this imprint. All of them are like this book, both in terms of concept and its quality.
Well, what are the other books, Sly?
Ruins, the Last Avenger story, and just a bunch of what if issues. But and I have this, I don't know if I should say it now or say it later, but the problem I have with all these books is it's always the fucking same. Almost every single Marvel alternate reality story is what if the worst thing could possibly happen to the Marvel characters, and I'm kind of sick of it.
Was this the worst?
It's pretty
Everyone's
terrible.
dead, Joe. Even the Punisher is dead.
Yeah, but that's always been his thing.
But like
I'm sure when he kills all the mobsters, he'll kill himself too.
these all feel like all these stories feel more like experiments to fulfill the writer's darkest whims rather than attempts to tell actually good stories. So if you want to see the concept fulfilled, I guess go read it. But I'm kind of tired of these stories. Like I've read enough of them to last me a lifetime. And if considering the good dark stories that DC has, it's disappointing that most of Marvel's dark alternate reality stories are this kind of shit.
Well, I couldn't disagree more. I'm really excited to read more. Everyone
Fuck
kills
you, Joe.
everyone stories.
He's got that face.
So speaking of, I'm setting you up, asshole.
I thought you were gonna talk about ruins.
Never. I'm really excited to read more of these stories. So with that, Ryan, do you have any final thoughts on
No,
this?
I would say you're not getting anything you don't expect to get.
Yeah.
So if that interests you, read it. If
Yeah.
it doesn't, don't.
Yeah, if you want to read something fun that does have some substance while also killing the whole Marvel Universe, this is the book for you.
Substance is a loose term.
So let's say you don't want to
Yeah.
read about the Punisher killing the Marvel Universe.
Let's
what would
say,
you recommend?
Let's say
Joe?
the Punisher is too 90s for you. I really want to read a more modern take on somebody killing the Marvel Universe. I would direct you towards Daredevil kills.
You mean Deadpool?
Deadpool.
Oh my god. We have literally said this title like 10 times tonight.
Yeah,
We have never
Deadpool.
called the right thing the first time.
I just spoke about Daredevil a lot in this
I
book,
know.
though. Let's
Daredevil kills the Marvel Universe. Make it happen, Marvel.
That's your next book.
So now we'll go to Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe.
Not Daredevil.
Not Daredevil, which is a lot more modern. It came out in 2012.
Yep.
And it's written by Cullen Bunn and drawn by Dalibor Talajic, I think.
I'm glad I'm not narrating this episode.
And it's basically the same kind of Elseworld.
It is the same
type of
fucking
thing.
story.
It's
Oh
very
no,
similar.
this is a very different story.
So I say it's pretty similar. Joe says it's different. We'll see.
It's different. It's different enough.
So it opens with the Watcher, who is a big cosmic guy that
Watches everything.
watches. And this actually is reminiscent of the book from the 70s that
Okay.
you mentioned before.
Well,
What
do you want
If?
to do opening thoughts on this?
Do we? I think we kind of covered it.
Okay.
Okay, well,
No, we don't have to. We can go.
yeah, let's skip it.
Yeah, fuck.
So in the 70s, there was a book called What If, where the Watcher would narrate
so not
these
happy.
alternate reality stories. And in this, he's setting it up the same way. Like, let's look at all different universes, and like, here's one where things are terrible. And then it cuts to the Fantastic Four, and they're not looking so great. Reed is melting, Mr. Fantastic, and Ben is the
He's
Thing.
melting in a fantastic fashion.
Yeah, and the Thing has a bunch of just dust and rocks everywhere, so
Yes.
he's been exploded.
He got his rocks off.
Yeah, he got his rocks off for the final time. And Reed's basically saying that he sent his kids to the negative zone, and whoever's after them, some mystery figure, as if we didn't read the cover of the book, is coming to kill them. And his
You
last
never know. It might
moment,
be the Punisher.
it
after
might be
them.
Punisher. His last moment, he saved the kids, and then he dies in Sue's arms. And Sue hears an explosion and runs to find her brother Johnny, who is burning to death, ironically enough, because he's the Human Torch.
Fire his one weakness.
So this is when we find the big mystery villain that we've been building for 3 pages, Deadpool. And Deadpool just says some jokes about, omelets and eggs or whatever, and he slashes Johnny's throat, and the blood splatters on his invisible sister. And that is how Deadpool sees her and goes to attack her too.
And she explodes his brain.
And she uses her invisible force fields to explode his head. End of book. Great book, right, guys?
Yeah.
And
I
then,
actually love that use of her powers.
yeah, because
It's
she's
some- it's some-
threatened that before.
It's something that like she's threatened but can never do in regular Marvel. So it's kind of cool to see that happen.
And I like that she does finally cross the edge when someone kills her family. Because
Yeah.
it would be ridiculous for her not to do that.
Yeah.
So anyway, she's like, it's over. And I guess she forgets that Deadpool has super healing factors, and he wakes up and kills her.
They all know who he is. It's not like he's like Deadpool's an unknown.
I didn't
until
think
he,
it was. I didn't think his healing fast would be that fast for getting his head exploded.
Oh, it's real fast. It shouldn't be that fast, though.
Because at least in the Punisher kills the Marvel Universe, no one knows who the Punisher is until he starts killing the Marvel Universe. Everyone
Yeah.
knows who Deadpool is beforehand.
This is in, like, an established, like, current
This
Marvel
is kind of assumed
Yeah.
as Deadpool, like you start killing people now.
Yeah. So then the Watcher goes, wait, let's back up a little bit. This seems confusing. And they go back to the X-Men are committing Wade Wilson, Deadpool, to a mental asylum. And it's Professor X, Storm, Cyclops, and Wolverine. And they're saying, Wade is way too crazy to exist. He's a murderer. We need to lock him up, and somebody needs to make him better. And he just keeps cracking jokes. And then the head of the asylum brings him into a private therapy session. And this is really weird.
Yeah, this is fucking weird.
I love this. Continue.
So keep in mind, Professor X, one of the most powerful telepaths, is the one walking him into this place. And the Doctor reveals that this isn't where they make people better. He's a villain known as the Psycho Man.
Yes.
Who manipulates people's emotions.
He's also really tiny.
He's also really tiny. And he is just really excited to torture Deadpool.
Yeah.
And he tries to torture Deadpool, and Deadpool basically just breaks out of his straitjacket and goes to kill him. He goes to strangle the big Doctor. And this is when the Doctor's robot body collapses and the tiny little Psycho Man head comes out.
It's like that guy in Men in Black, the little tiny alien inside the guy's head.
Yeah. And do you think it's weird that Professor X didn't notice that that's what this place was?
Because he takes him to a pretty established
But they say
facility.
they've been doing this for a while. That they're just doing this to heroes.
Like that guy.
Or to anybody.
Like that guy
You
is,
think
but like...
Professor X would scope the place out?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Especially
This is
with
an
someone
established
as
place.
dangerous as Deadpool.
Yeah.
Also, like I said before.
Also, this is a story.
yeah, like,
Yeah,
This
okay.
is, like I
Yeah.
said, these stories aren't worth the analysis of logic. If you're gonna do that, you're gonna spend a fucking
Oh,
long time.
this one certainly is. I think is
I
because
think this one's more grounded.
I loved
Or
the
it's supposed to be.
the change in narration that Wade gets,
Yeah. So
which was quirky because there are two kind of caption bubbles going on. There is Wade's caption bubble. There's one that looks like a script, like a blank script.
So at this time, Deadpool's status quo was he had two inner narration boxes. He had one that was him, and the other one was like basically someone cracking jokes on him.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the way Ryan North does editor notes at the bottom of pages
Yeah.
if you read any of his Adventure Time books.
and they're written like a script. Like, yeah.
It's almost like the script is passing commentary on the book.
Yeah.
And now at this point, the Psycho Man unlocks a new narration box, which is like in all the movies, the voices in your head that tell you to do bad things and kill people.
Yeah.
So he kills Psycho Man and he torches the asylum and blows it up.
Yes.
And then at this point it cuts back to the Watcher, and the Watcher's still narrating it as if it's a what if story, and Deadpool sees him, jumps like through the panel and says, "Hey, who are you talking to?" and kills him.
Yeah.
And that's the end of issue 1. So he cuts off the Watcher's big bald head.
Okay.
And now we don't have a setting holder anymore.
My question: does the inner narration voice indicate that it's about the? Because what I really liked about this book is the stuff it does with the fourth wall, and how it plays on Daredevil's knowledge.
Deadpool.
Of the Deadpool. God. Man, this is a rough night for me. Deadpool's ability to break the fourth wall.
That's the only part of this book I actually really like.
Yeah.
So he's basically, at this point, Deadpool tells the Watcher that there's something wrong with him.
Yes.
And he sees who the Watcher's talking to.
Yeah.
Which is implied to be us.
Yes.
The reader. So how do you feel about that whole thing?
I really like it. I like that that's what drives it. This is what's going to drive him to kill the Marvel Universe. It's him becoming so... Like, he's been aware, it's like, he's joked, like, oh, I'm in a comic book, but now he's self-aware that all of his torment and stuff is coming from writers and is coming from
So
fans
even though
and stuff.
they explicitly state it later on, I think it's good to talk about it now.
Yeah.
That basically his motivation is that he realizes that he's in a comic book and that all, like Joe said, all the terrible things are happening are because somebody was amused by it.
Yeah.
And that's why he's basically trying to put the rest of the universe out of their misery.
Yeah.
Which is a very interesting concept.
Yep.
What do you think, Sly?
I could say about all these fucking concepts. They're all interesting concepts, but these stories don't fucking develop them well enough or to the degree enough to actually be good.
Now, the fact that this book does have a couple sequels that explore it even more.
I did not give a shit about them enough,
Okay.
based on this one book.
Okay. That's fair.
I heard Sly doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, but I mean, that is fair that you should care by the end of the first book in a series. You know, like...
You don't read fucking Harry Potter for this.
Why was I going to go with Harry Potter for my example, too? But yeah, if you finish Harry Potter 1 and you hate it, like, you shouldn't be motivated to go read 2. So now there's a montage. The issue 2 opens with a montage of a bunch of dead heroes, and this is Doctor Doom is strung up on like puppet strings. I think it's really funny that there's a Howard the Duck
Howard
that's
the Duck is my
cooked on a
favorite, yeah.
table with a hat and a
Yeah.
cigar,
Yeah.
and Ghost Rider is dead in one panel.
Oh, yeah, so they got me there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just cut his head off. That works.
There you go.
Sure, that works.
And then the first hero that we see an actual fight with on screen is Spider-Man,
Yeah.
just like in Punisher. And basically,
This story's a massive ripoff of Punisher in a lot of ways. Like, I really fucking hate
do you
that
think
about
it's a
the story.
ripoff or an homage?
No, I feel it's a ripoff.
Okay,
Like, the way he kills some heroes is a straight ripoff of the way he kills heroes in Punisher.
that's fair. So Spider-Man's fighting him on the rooftops and drops Deadpool onto a police car, and he like splats.
Yeah.
And again, he underestimates his healing factor, and Deadpool blows his head off.
Also,
Yeah.
no spider sense, conveniently.
Yeah, that was also when
Yeah.
I read that. Spider-Man does not get any spider sense about a gun about to be shoved to his head.
Just like
Yeah.
Captain America couldn't recognize that Punisher's gonna shoot him in the face during the Punisher story. Everyone's
Yeah.
conveniently really stupid.
But when Ryan complains about Professor X, it's just the nature of the story, dicks.
I'm on your side. But, like, I don't want to keep fucking bitching about it all the time.
So now it cuts the Avengers, and the Avengers lineup is pretty light, and they're basically saying, "Where's everybody else?" And at this point, Deadpool's already killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
Luke Cage mentions Black Panther, Tigra, Iron Fist,
All the A-listers.
all the A-listers. Like, yeah, took me a second to realize I was also making that joke. Like, he kills Black Panther off screen, but like we said, I think it's fine to get like some tough guys
Yeah.
off screen.
Well,
It's
also,
like,
those
that's-
guys aren't that tough. Black Panther's killable.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
Iron
guess.
Fist is like the most.
I'm sorry, are you bad-mouthing Tigra?
Oh yeah, Tigra. How could Deadpool ever kill Tigra, who's a cat lady?
I actually find the way he takes out all the Avengers really funny.
Yeah.
Jarvis, the Avengers butler, runs in and says, Dr. Pym is missing. That's Ant-Man.
Yes.
He was the older Ant-Man in the Ant-Man movie. And he shrinks stuff, if you can imagine. So Deadpool had apparently shrunk a bunch of bombs into everyone's coffee so that when they
No,
drank it...
first he shrunk him into
The table.
office, the table.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
he shrunk him into Luke Cage to make him explode from within to make sure
Yeah,
he dies.
because Luke
from within.
Cage says, you use bombs to beat someone with unbreakable skin? And he goes, no, I also put bombs in the coffee.
And I would find that clever if this fucking story didn't fuck up even the simple thing. They have Wolverine smell the bombs before they go to large size. That means he could have smelled the entire time.
Yeah,
So fuck the story. They even fucked that up.
that's true. I actually find a lot of these deaths really funny.
Does he smell when they're about to grow, though?
No, he smells it right before they grow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even though the story fucked that up.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's keep going.
Whatever. I think. See, I don't really like this book very much, but some of these deaths.
I
are really
like Thor's.
funny.
I actually find Thor's.
Thor's death is hilarious.
Yeah.
So Thor throws the hammer at Deadpool, and Deadpool uses the pin particles to make the hammer really big on its way back to Thor, and it just smushes him. And I find that really funny.
And it's a worthy question. Who's more powerful, Thor or his hammer?
Well, apparently the hammer, and then Deadpool boops his nose as he
Yeah.
dies. And now the voice is saying, like, are you satisfied? And he's like, no, not yet. Have to kill everybody. The Hulk
You have
cuts
4
him-
issues to fill.
Yeah. The Hulk cuts him into a million pieces.
Oh yeah,
rips him
this.
apart.
Oh yeah, Joe skipped over Hulk's death in.
No, he didn't. He
No, I
talked
didn't.
about it.
Did he talk about it?
Yeah.
How he died.
Yeah. I said he waited for Hulk to turn to Banner, then
Okay,
shoots
so
Banner.
copy and paste that for this story because this story rips it off.
No, this time he has swords.
Fuck you.
I gotta agree with Ryan on this. I think swords are a really crucial.
Yeah,
element.
that's really.
It shows that Deadpool knows how to use swords.
Yeah.
That's really important.
It is. He uses
So-
swords. Punisher doesn't use swords.
Even though it's only for this one page after
Yeah.
this, I actually find this a really neat concept. It's all the heroes' supporting characters, like Aunt May, Mary Jane, the news anchor who was Beast's girlfriend that we saw before, and they have pooled all of their life
yes.
savings and money and jewels together to pay a hitman to kill Deadpool.
Yes.
And who do they hire?
The Taskmaster.
The Taskmaster, who has a long history of being Deadpool's friend,
Yeah.
and like trained with him and lived with him for a long time.
Yes. Yes.
This would be a more interesting reveal if, like, they treat it like it's a big new threat coming into the story, but there's nothing suggests Taskmaster's anywhere close to Deadpool because Deadpool's like a god at this point, killing fucking Thor.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing in the story makes you think like, oh, Taskmaster's gonna pose a threat to him. So I don't get why this story treats it like he is.
Yeah,
Why
so
not?
like it's basically this reveal. I feel like is a fun, cool reveal if you're a big Deadpool fan.
Yeah.
and you follow Deadpool during like the late '90s, early 2000s.
Well, it's okay. The story doesn't have to rely on someone writing. It has to rely on other stuff, right, Ryan?
Well, no, I'm not saying it's good for this book, but I also think that a book.
I'm
like
saying it
this,
was good for this book.
I
I've
think-
never read those.
I think a book like this you have to
I
follow.
thought that was fine.
Okay, well, Joe's
Yeah.
the one who didn't read Deadpool and he liked it, but I feel like you do have to kind of know your audience. It's not like when we talked about that for Daredevil, Guardian Devil, that was a relaunch. It was supposed to be new fan friendly.
I think
This is.
I
I
don't feel this is for diehard Deadpool fans. I feel this is for just the Deadpool people who like Deadpool and want to see him kill people.
Okay,
Like, if
I
you
would
watch
take it
Deadpool
more
movie-
that if you're. Well, this was years before the.
I know,
Deadpool
but like
movie.
they had the Deadpool in the cartoons and
I
Deadpool
took
in
it
video
more like
games.
if you're a big Deadpool fan, like you.
I
Would
don't
buy
think
this.
it's-
Who
I don't-
else would buy this?
I think people read like Deadpool. Well, okay, people watch Deadpool in the Batman.
Could you call him Daredevil?
Can
Real
I
quick?
fucking hell?
Yeah,
Alright,
I think you mean Daredevil.
so
I'm pretty sure you mean Daredevil.
the people who watched him in like Hulk versus the people who played him in the Marvel games, the people who just like Deadpool just from seeing his comic strips.
The
online.
casual Deadpool.
Yes,
fan.
exactly.
Okay, yeah.
I thought Taskmaster. That was a cool. Like I really like that they go and like purchase someone to take out.
I like the concept, but
Deadpool. And-
the weight to give it is not earned.
Who else? I guess, yeah, because he's not.
Who
Like,
would show up that would give it weight?
that could also be bought by Aunt May and MJ.
I'm sorry, we're leaving out Alicia Masters.
Yeah, Alicia Masters is there.
But like, he's not gonna be a threat for the Deadpool. Like, I don't get why the story treats him like he's gonna. be a
He's
threat.
a high level merc.
Oh, Deadpool just killed Thor. He's not gonna.
That's- I'm kind of in the middle
Yeah.
where I get that he shouldn't be a threat in this
Yeah.
world, but given the context of what they're trying to do, I don't see anyone else it could be.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to me. Normally, in a story like this, they would hire Deadpool. So now Deadpool goes to Professor X, and even though Professor X's legs worked at this point, ironically enough, he tortures him by stabbing him in the legs. And I think this is really funny. He makes Professor X say, "To me, my X-Men," to summon
Yes.
the X-Men. And then he kills everybody.
He kills the X-Men.
He kills Cyclops by throwing like a big red globe on his head, so
And then
his head
Cyclops
explodes.
explodes, and then he kills everyone around him.
Kills everyone around him, and who is it? The White Queen, Cannonball, and Pixie. And he mocks that that Professor X doesn't even know who Pixie is, and she's just some like D-lister. He has a big death trap for the other X-Men. He electrocutes everybody.
Yeah.
And then he breaks Professor X's neck.
No, he, doesn't he Professor X kill himself or something like that?
He makes the fourth wall breaking inner voice is like have him read your mind, and Wade lets Chuck read his mind, and the sheer I guess chaos of it, or Xavier also comes to the realization that he's in a comic book and this is all just for someone's amusement.
Yeah.
And he goes brain dead just by reading
And he
Deadpool's mind.
Okay,
he wasn't
yeah.
trying to read Deadpool's mind. He was trying to shut his brain down, and by
Yeah.
going through.
But he goes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kills Magneto by putting him in a big pile of jellified acid. So he's basically just drowning in jelly acid, which is hilarious.
That was weird.
And
Where'd
then-
they get that?
Then we actually get a scene that's longer than a page.
Well, he gets it from Arcade.
But
Yeah.
does Arcade have that?
So
Of course.
Why
It's
not?
Arcade.
Doesn't he have like mechs and like machinery and
he
stuff?
can have two things.
Jellies. He can have jelly and mechs.
Yeah.
He had a whole arena.
So-
Arcade is a villain who basically has like a giant death trap, and like he makes superheroes go through it. In this universe, he uses it to kill the X-Men.
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't. Someone else does.
Yeah, Deadpool does.
Deadpool
Yeah.
does.
Deadpool uses
So-
Arcade to make him do this.
Otherwise, we call Deadpool and Arcade kill the Marvel
So,
universe.
spoilers, Arcade's here now.
Yeah.
Wolverine is hunting Deadpool to try to kill him,
Wolverine, who did not die in the explosion.
who did not die in the
Yes.
explosion because he's Wolverine. And he finds Arcade, who's chained up, and basically he says, like, you're working with Deadpool, and Arcade says, well, no, Deadpool kind of stole all my stuff, but you're here to save me. And Wolverine's like, I'm not going to save you, you're a piece of shit.
And then murders him.
And then murders him. And then, actually, no, he's gonna murder him, and then he hears a loud noise and actually lets him live.
Okay.
He finds the bodies of his children all like mutilated and melted.
Wolverine does.
Wolverine does, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he
And
finds
they're not his
Deadpool-
children. They're his clone and his bastard son.
That's true. Oh, what? A bastard son isn't someone's child, Sly? What are you trying to say?
Draken Snow, is that what we're getting?
Yeah.
You know nothing, Draken Snow. And then he finally finds Deadpool, and Deadpool is wearing beast skin, like a fur jacket.
Like a wolf pelt.
Yeah, which like
Yeah.
a wolf pelt, which is hilarious. And he super mutilates Wolverine pretty easily. And the one thing that this is when it starts to get pretty breaking the fourth wall kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because he says Deadpool says your tendency to come back from the brink of death has nothing to do with your healing factor. Your mutant power isn't regeneration; it's popularity. Which is kind of saying the only reason you're still alive has nothing to do with your mutant factor. It's just plot armor.
And to bring back the point of lame deaths, he just kills him with a samurai sword.
It's not just any samurai sword.
It's a dumb samurai sword that Jeff Loeb introduced into the fucking canon that sucks ass.
I can't really disagree with that, but this wasn't a Cullen Bunn invention, though. This was something that had existed.
But he could have come up
for
with
a
something
while.
cooler. At least Electric Fence is better than that. And still no steamroller. Where the fuck's a steamroller?
The power generator.
So now Taskmaster.
I thought you were upset that
I know
this
that's
book was
better.
I thought you said this book was ripping off other deaths. He does an actual Wolverine
but it's
death.
lamer. Like at least improve on something.
So now Taskmaster is hunting Deadpool. I almost said Daredevil. And he finds a book in Doctor Strange's lair, and Doctor Strange is, of course, super dead.
Yep.
And it's a map to the nexus of all realities. And he goes, oh, this isn't good. And end of issue 3.
Yep.
So now another big montage of him killing a bunch of people. And
This is kind of interesting. All the heroes and villains are like doing a mass suicide.
yeah.
And it turns out to be the Doll Master, not the Doll Master,
Puppet
Master, being controlled by Daredevil, Deadpool.
Yeah.
There we go.
So Puppet Master is
I've
basically
ruined
like
all of you.
controlling everybody. Well, no, I think I did it first.
Okay.
Before we started taping, I kept saying Daredevil. And then this is when the Punisher shows up.
The Punisher figure was Deadpool causing all these mass suicides, so he was waiting nearby. And when the Puppet Master shows up wearing Deadpool's costumes, he shoots the Puppet Master, and then Deadpool uses that to kill Punisher.
Yeah, and he basically, like, the Puppet Master just controls everybody.
Yeah.
And so that's what he was doing. And then Deadpool just shows up and using a Puppet Master voodoo doll has Frank shoot himself in the head, which is a pretty direct reference, I think, to Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe.
No, he even says
Well, acknowledges
He
that.
says, like, this is usually your deal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, killing all the Marvels of the world is supposed to be your gig, but you've always thought small. And then it cuts to outer space, where Daredevil has...
There we go.
Deadpool has killed Thanos, the Silver Surfer, all Nova, all Galactus,
Yeah.
all these cosmic characters. Did they explain how?
No.
Nope.
No, he just kills them,
They're
right?
all dead.
It's fine. They're dead.
I don't get it. Whatever. Fuck it.
So now Taskmaster finally meets up with Deadpool in a
Yeah.
swamp, and they start...
Not just any swamp, the Florida Everglades. This is just a little side thing because everything rhinos. The Nexus of All Realities is located in the Florida Everglades. This is established in the Adventure into Fear Man-Thing run.
That's how Howard the Duck gets here.
Yes.
Man-Thing is like
A swamp monster horror character.
Yeah.
Who feeds on fear.
He doesn't feed, but he's an empathy, so he feels what other people fear, and the emotion that he hates the most is fear,
whoever knows fear burns at the Man-Thing's touch.
Yeah.
as the slogan goes.
So
Which is one of the coolest slogans in history.
I love it.
basically,
Yeah.
Deadpool is telling Taskmaster that I can save us all from this endless cycle of continuity. I can have us escape from these endless, writers
Yeah.
doing these terrible things to us. And Taskmaster's shtick is that he can think like everybody, and anyone that he sees fight, he can emulate their every move. So Deadpool just basically, this isn't really how it works, but whatever. Deadpool says, if you can think like me, what's next? And
He thinks that, oh no, Man-Thing is behind me, and he's gonna make my face.
yeah.
That's how it works.
I took it more like he
Is that what he
realizes that Deadpool's had the nervous breakdown and is thinking about the continuity stuff. Like, kind of similar to what happened with
I don't get
Professor
that
X.
at all.
It's not very clear. And then Taskmaster gets
That's not
really
clear at
scared.
all. Holy shit.
Yeah, Taskmaster gets really scared, and Man-Thing shows up and burns him away.
Yeah.
So now, at this point, Deadpool has found the nexus of all realities.
Which is a Man-Thing. Man-Thing sacrificed himself to open the Nexus of all realities.
Yeah. Which I don't really know why he does that.
Because he's sick of this bullshit too, I
He's
guess.
sick of this bullshit, too.
Yeah.
So Deadpool uses the nexus of all realities to come to our Earth.
And he kills Cullen Bunn and the...
Well, he finds the writer, the editor, the penciler, and the inker,
Yeah.
all talking about how they want to end the book, and they're saying they want Deadpool to come in and
kill them all.
and see the Marvel writers
Yeah.
and kill them all. And it ends with Deadpool looking back at the camera and saying, I'm going to kill this universe next. I'll find you soon enough, and
Yeah.
shushes us.
That was a happy ending. I
and
like that ending.
ends the book.
Yeah.
A worthy punishment.
So
I loved it.
that's the end of it.
I like this book a lot.
Do you?
I do.
Now this is
We
part-
kind of gloss over
Yeah.
a lot of the fourth wall voice,
yeah,
which was kind of what sold me on this.
because it's more like snappy dialogue.
Yeah.
Like the concepts are there from the beginning, but I didn't want to go through like every
Yeah,
sentence.
but I thought that the fourth wall, because it changes speech bubble where he usually like it's a red and yellow speech bubble,
Uh-huh.
and that's kind of Daredevil. And oh my god, kill me! No,
I
don't.
love that we've done it
Don't.
enough times that we can't possibly edit them out.
Yeah,
Don't.
it's in. It's in.
Yeah. I'm almost afraid to say his name. I love this because it was Deadpool's fourth wall breaking to like the next consciousness of what that would be. Him being so self-aware that like he's like I have to end all of this, and it literally ends with him killing the Marvel universe at its source, which is the writers and the fans.
I found this fourth wall breaking more interesting than most of the times when it's done for comedy.
Yeah.
Like I really like it in the movie, but in the books a lot of times I feel like it's kind of like too obvious of a joke.
Yeah.
That
It
I
can be a
feel
little
like-
hokey.
Yeah.
Whereas
that's
this was very kind of serious almost.
Yeah,
That's
and
not really.
I
This is-
actually, it was still. I think it was still more for laughs,
Yeah.
but I like that. I feel like this is a justification that makes sense to me. Like this is why he would do
yeah.
this, and this is actually part of a trilogy where he then kills.
Have you read? You read the rest of the
I
trilogy?
read Deadpool Illustrated, which was.
You liked it.
I read it a long time ago. I'd never read a Deadpool book before. I thought it was fun. He's going through fictional realities and killing like Sherlock Holmes and like and like Moby Dick and like
Okay.
and that's I found that really interesting. I know there's another one where he kills
He kills the universe of Deadpool.
he
something
kills
like
every Deadpool in the multiverse
Yeah,
or
something like
something. And like I find this book didn't really make me want to go back and read the other ones or read the next, but I didn't dislike it. I kind of read the whole thing really quickly and was like, I don't think it really had as much substance as I wanted. It had a decent, it had a really cool concept that just it didn't sell me on it as much. But I think overall it was just kind of I liked Punisher better.
I feel like my summary for all these books is good, interesting concepts that are never developed properly. Everything happens too quickly. It feels more like an experiment of how can we kill these characters off, and it's not even as that interesting as that. Most of the deaths are kind of lame. There's a few interesting ones, but yeah. I can't recommend this, even as unless you really want to see. If you want to see Punisher make a laughing stock out of certain characters, go read his actual run, which is better.
I think that even though this book was twice as long, I found it had half as much substance as Punisher.
I agree.
And I think
I
like
don't disagree with that.
if you're gonna read one, I would read Punisher. I wouldn't
I agree with that,
necessarily say don't read it if you're interested in Deadpool kills. I'm not saying like it wasn't offensively bad, but it wasn't.
No, it's not offensively bad.
It wasn't enough for me to recommend it. But like it was worth like the $6 I got it on Amazon for.
I'd recommend both.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're both. They are exactly what they say they are.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking for Watchmen or like
Yeah, it is not.
yeah,
it is not.
this is not. These aren't those comics, but for what they are, I think they're very good. I think Deadpool Kills Marvel Universe has a little more substance than either of you are giving it credit for. I really like the concept. It makes total sense with the history of Daredevil that he would be
Deadpool.
Oh my!
I noticed when he said
Yeah.
Deadpool because I'm like he said it right the first time.
Yeah.
He has to say it wrong again.
Yeah.
He has to say it wrong again.
I have to say it wrong again because I had to think about it last time. I think Deadpool is the character that if you're going to do a higher consciousness, story like this, he's the one character you could do it with.
Yeah,
You can't do this with like a Punisher
Yeah.
or a Daredevil or
I think they almost,
Spider-Man or anything like that.
to its detriment, I think they spend too much time on him killing people.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think
Yeah.
Punisher having so much more off screen was more interesting. Where Deadpool, it was almost too much of the joke and not enough of the premise.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
We have readers from listeners.
Yes, we have readers.
We have whatever the
Well,
fuck.
what's our letter page say?
Yeah,
Ryan?
this is our letters page. We have.
It's not letters from listeners because that would be a Flophouse ripoff, and we're not gonna do that, are we, Ryan?
I'm trying not to. I love podcasts and I accidentally rip them off a lot. So we have two letters. One is signed Pill. This is from Pill.
Okay.
He says, "Hey guys, what up? What is this show about? Why dat Roy guy lose arm? Is he Arrow? What is justice? Thanks for help understanding." Pill. You want to take that, Joe?
I do. All right. Well, Pill. As we mentioned at the start of every podcast, We're a podcast that talks about divisive issues in comics, things that are controversial, have a reputation. We just talk about comics that we like and kind of have like a reputation
Okay,
for.
let's each
So,
take one of these questions.
Okay.
So, you told us what the show is about.
Okay.
Why that Roy guy lose arm? Well, you see, Pill, some people don't know how to write comic books.
But he does know how to write comic books. It's James Robinson.
Some people just are bad at it sometimes, and that's why that Roy guy lose arm. Is he Arrow? Not anymore.
He can't be
Sly-
Arrow. He has no arm.
What is Justice?
Revenge. I
Oh
guess.
no! Okay, well, we hope that helped. If anyone else wants to write in, it's divisiveissues@gmail.com, or tweet at us at divisiveissues, or our Facebook page.
Or the Facebook.
Spoilers, Divisive Issues. So now this other question comes from Brian. This one's a little bit more straightforward, I guess. So, headcanon. How do you guys feel about this when reading comics and even just regular stories in general? So we mentioned it in the Civil War episode. He says, I remember the example given during the Civil War episode about Daredevil, that even though it technically wasn't Matt Murdock in his book, it reads better if it is. So he's wondering, how do we feel about it in other mediums, such as TV shows, movies, and video games? He adds, at what point is ignoring continuity and past plot bad writing? Is headcanon too close to fan fiction? And if so, is that even a bad thing?
Ryan said he's glad we're doing this question during this episode because he wants Deadpool because my universe be canned so badly.
So I'm the one who introduced headcanon in the Civil War
Okay.
episode, so I'll go first, I guess. Headcanon's basically the idea that you fill in the gaps in between bookshelves. So, like, the example I gave was in Civil War, it wasn't Matt Murdock at the time in his book. He was in jail and it was somebody else. But Civil War reads so much better if it is Matt, because if it's the guy who's filling in, it doesn't really make any sense. And it mentions Catholicism, which we talked about in the last episode, is a big Daredevil thing. And, like, so I'm a big fan of just the stuff that's stupid, whatever. I don't need, if it's not on my bookshelf, it's really easy to ignore. And, like, because comics, some of these characters have been around for 75 years, it's easy for me to ignore, like, the times that Batman fought space aliens and went to different dimensions, and it's kind of easier for me to deal with the history of the character by making kind of selectively choosing what I feel happened and didn't. Just like the way a lot of writers do. So what about you, Joe?
I have a very
Joe
complicated.
doesn't believe in headcanon. At least when Ryan does it.
I don't disbelieve in headcanon. I think it's a fun way if you want to fill in the blanks between stories. My big issue with it is when people use headcanon as justification. I see this with a lot of characters where they want to change a character's sexuality or their motivations. They try to make a character something that they're not. That's when I see headcanons used mostly. It's like, well, let's take Poison Ivy for instance. People are like, oh, Poison Ivy's totally a lesbian, despite the fact that she's had sex with a lot of men, and mostly Batman. I would say like a lot of men, but
She's
like,
also had, in canon,
Yeah.
in the 90s, a lot of sexual tension with Harley Quinn.
see that's where headcanon comes into play. Or like you could say that, but like instead of saying she could be bisexual and stuff, like, oh, she's lesbian for
Oh, okay,
Harley
I
Quinn.
see what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah,
This, the romance I like counts. Romance that I don't like doesn't count.
Yeah, I got
yeah.
you.
It's ignoring the actual canon to make something that doesn't exist.
Got you.
That's when I see it a lot.
So is it too close to fan fiction?
It depends on the person, because certain people you could have it and realize this is your headcanon, this is your thing.
Yeah.
This isn't something that you can like go and argue with someone about, you know?
Yeah, okay. I see. So,
Like
like,
that.
for me personally, like, you know, in Batman, like, I would love Batman and Zatanna to get together,
Yeah.
and the times that they do are my favorite. But I can't necessarily say that invalidates his relationship with Catwoman. And stuff like
Exactly. And what was the other part? When does headcanon make
that.
for...
How do you feel about it in other mediums outside of comic books?
I don't know enough about it in other mediums, I'm going to be
Especially,
quite honest.
he specifically mentions video games.
Yeah.
And in video games, a lot goes unsaid. There's a lot of backstory.
Okay, okay, in video game like that?
Yeah.
I think
Like Mario
I think
and
that's
Peach
fine.
and all that the sex and
but
having off.
for real, like Mario
No,
and
I think that's
Peach-
fine, because that's open to interpretation, you know?
That Bowser's boning Peach while Mario's trying to rescue her.
And
That
don't-
interpretation of the canon.
And don't you think? I guess. And don't you think
There are
that?
extremes to everything.
But don't you
So-
think that in video games, I think headcanon gets even more credibility because you're the one giving the character motivation?
Yes.
So my opinion on headcanon is when you have multiple writers working on characters that have been around for years, you can't take every writer's whims literally. If you do, it'll be very, very frustrating. And eventually, I think everyone reaches the point where like I can't have this writer just define this character for me. Like for example, Scarlet Witch and the Vision, who are characters in Avengers, when they were created, basically they were Vision is obviously a robot. Scarlet Witch is
Yeah, if you've seen Avengers 2, all
yeah.
this stuff is explored.
yeah, but so Vision's a robot, and he wants to. In the comics for during the '60s and '70s, he started to develop more humanity, trying to learn how to like be human, and through that he started dating Scarlet Witch, and they got married and they had kids. And one writer was like, "I find that weird. I don't want this to happen," and he basically turned. Had Vision get broken apart and reconstructed to be more robotic and be unemotional again, and had revealed that Scarlet Witch used her magic powers to make up babies, and they never had children, and basically made it reveal that she was crazy the whole entire time, and basically that kind of destroyed the character development for the next like 10 years. They tried to slowly recreate them. Then another writer made Scarlet Witch crazy again, and then killed Vision again. They basically went circles for a long time after that. And that's because that happened during a time when continuity was less shaken up. So whenever a writer does something big like that, it sticks around for a long time. So Vision and Scarlet Witch basically got the characters fucked for eternity because people didn't believe in reworking stuff like that quickly back then.
So-
And I'm actually glad now stuff like that gets scaled back more often.
So you actually think headcanon is more important now?
Yeah.
When characters are more convoluted?
I'd rather have people make their own interpretations and ignore the ones they don't than have one interpretation define the character forever.
Okay.
Like that guy, the writer John Byrne, basically fucked their relationship for the rest of
Yeah.
eternity from now on.
So, like, if you just don't have that book on your bookshelf, you can kind of
Ignore
just in your head, they broke up at some point.
yeah.
Okay.
And in other mediums, I think it's important too because a lot of my favorite shows, they usually have one or two bad seasons. Like 24, my favorite season was season 5. Season 6 is complete trash. But season 7 almost completely ignores season 6. So in your mind, you could pretend season 6 never happened and just went from 5 to 7.
So you're a big proponent of
Yes,
headcanon.
I am. Because
Cool.
like you could. The ideal work has everything count, where it's such a good work that everything is super canon. But
I think
not
we
every-
only see that when it's one writer. Though.
exactly. That's what I mean. We have
Like The
multiple
Walking
writers.
Dead, every issue of The Walking Dead is written by the same guy,
Yeah.
and the vast majority of the same artist, even. So, like, you don't get to pick and choose
Yeah.
there.
But when you have multiple writers, it's so hard to maintain a level of quality because you have
Yeah.
different people giving their own. Everyone focuses on different things. Everyone has different interpretations of different things, and you can't take everyone's literally.
I mean, even look at like early Batman. He used a gun and
Yeah,
killed people.
exactly.
Like, and the defining trait of the character now is that he doesn't do that.
Yeah.
And like, if you were to take everything at face value, then he's the most inconsistent character there is.
Yeah.
So I think that definitely makes a lot of sense. And as time goes on, I think the more writers you have involved, the more flexible you have to be with your own continuity.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, final segment.
Yeah.
Drum roll.
Recommendations?
Recommendations for
Okay.
if you didn't like these books or you want to read something instead of, what would you recommend? Or if you really liked them, whatever rules Joe wants to play. How about Joe? You go first.
I'm picking Ruins.
Fuck off.
God damn
Fuck
it,
you.
Joe.
Fuck both of you. Fuck both of you and your hatred of fun.
Are we doing Ruins next episode?
Yes, we are.
Do we want to?
We are
Yes.
doing it.
All right, we're doing it next episode.
So
I won't-
sell us on a premise to get everyone hyped as shit.
All right.
Shit is pretty hyped.
This is the Marvel universe where things go horribly, horribly wrong.
Everything goes as wrong as
But
possible.
I like that Sly said I'm really sick of stories like this, and then we made him review another one on the same episode, and
Yeah.
now another one on the next episode.
You both chose this.
I want to get this over with. This has to be done, and it has to be
I
done
want
now.
you to know. No. Can we delay it like a week so Sly has to wait?
Fuck you.
whatever you guys want.
We'll talk about this afterwards, I'm sure. But
We'll keep it a
it's weird because it's a Marvel universe that's somewhat established, but everything goes horribly, horribly awry. And it has the main character of Marvels, which is a very critically acclaimed book.
Yeah.
Who is what's his name?
Sheldon.
Sheldon.
I forgot his
Sheldon
full name.
Cooper.
Sheldon. Sure, let's go with that.
It's a terrible world where Sheldon Cooper is a mainstay in the Marvel universe.
Where he's trying to discover what went wrong in this dystopian world that the Marvel universe is. and we'll read. We'll talk more about it next week. So or in 2 weeks or
So,
whenever.
okay.
But if you like Elseworld stories where things don't go the right way, this is another one that you could check out if you'd like. It apparently came out at the same time as Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe. So yeah, there you go.
Cool.
I would recommend Garth Ennis's Punisher. If you want to see Punisher making laughing stock out of certain heroes, you'll get that too. And it's a better story, it's a better series overall than this. Either of these.
I agree. They're both it's a longer run as well, but I think it's some of Garth Ennis' best work.
Cool. I would recommend another Marvel Elseworlds called Daredevil End of Days.
Hmm.
That's written by Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev, who
Yep.
did my favorite Daredevil run. And it's a story that takes place in the future where it's the Marvel universe in like 20 years.
Yeah.
And Daredevil, the series starts with Daredevil's death, and it's them investigating the mysteries of surrounding it, and the Punisher's featured pretty heavily, and it is very dark and gritty and exploring an alternate future kind of thing, but I think it's a lot more character driven and a lot more fleshed out than these two books.
And it's very appropriate because we just read Daredevil Kills the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and I meant Daredevil this time. And if you liked the Daredevil Frank stuff from Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe, there's a lot more of that, and it's a lot more fleshed out in End of Days.
All right.
Cool.
All right. Are we good?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
We're
we're good.
All right. Well, I'm Daredevil,
I'm Deadpool.
I'm Daredevil.
and this has been Divisive Issues. Everyone, stay in continuity.